On everyone. So once again, the Brooklyn Nets show why they aren't a contending team. I'm sorry. I've said this before, I'll say it again. They are a team that is just, they are who they are. They're a play-in team, late, maybe playoff team that's just going to get eliminated in the first round, right? Maybe they surprise somebody, but they're not a legit contender. You had a solid all-around game from everybody, from their big three, right? Durant had 25 and 5. Simmons had 11, 7, and 11, which is really good for him, and had a great showing out against his former team and Philly. Like, this was the moment for like the team to rally around and have a big win, right? You have Philly, who has basically nobody, Tobias Harris, and just a bunch of bench guys that haven't even really played, things like that, and you allowed 3 or 4 guys that play 7 minutes a game to basically just dominate you and pull out a win. And I said, I did a whole breakdown video prior to this game, and I said, hey, maybe this could be a real jumping off point. Ben Simmons is coming around. Maybe they could be a team that, starts rattling off some wins here, start building some confidence, and then maybe they could turn it around, right? Because again, on paper, they are a team that looks like one of the best, if not the best, in the entire league. You look at this team front to back: Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, Nick Claxton, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Markieff Morris. You list off all these guys and you're just like, man, this team is like, 12 guys deep, just incredible scoring, but they can't stop anybody. They can't play defense. They're just not a very good team. They just aren't. And I don't know what Brooklyn can do to turn around. I don't see them turning it around. And I've said time and time again that I think this team, this is their last chance. I think this is it. Now, hopefully you can get Ben Simmons. He's still continuing to play really well. If he can continue that, then that's a good sign, right? Because you're losing Kyrie at the end of the season. Kevin Durant's probably likely going to want to be traded. If that happens, then at least you have a solid Ben Simmons who's kind of rejuvenized, ready to go, and you can kind of use him as a piece to build around, right? Or maybe a team is like, oh, okay, like, hey, Ben Simmons is back. We're willing to trade for him, right? Maybe you could pull off a deal to maybe trade and unload him. I don't know if that would be the case, but it's an interesting thought, right? Because this team just isn't good, like they're playing a team that had nobody. You're playing a team that basically had their 3 best players not playing. And Philly just outworked them. Philly played great. You had Tobias Harris look like a superstar against you. You had Milton get 22, 4, and 4. Paul Reed played like he was, prime Dwight Howard with like 19 points, 10 rebounds, just all over the, like, it just wasn't a good game for the Brooklyn Nets. Like, this is a game that they should have won by like 30, right? Came out, had a dominant performance, rallied around Ben Simmons, and just ran this team out the building, right? And instead you had, Niang basically play as if he was James Harden. You had Tobias Harris putting up, Embiid numbers. And like, it just was sad. This was just a terrible game. Shake Milton absolutely dominated these guys with 16, 6, and 5. He hit a bunch of clutch 3-pointers in the third quarter, especially to kind of like keep things like in range. And then eventually they just wore him down and just were able to run away with it. You have Kyrie back. You have all this controversy, all this drama, just everything surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And they're just not a good team. They just can't win. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Brooklyn Nets have won 1 playoff series since this team's been put together. And, they have on paper, again, a great team. And it looks like, maybe they'll turn things around and Ben Simmons is starting to wake up. And it's like, man, if Ben Simmons could wake up, maybe we could rattle off some wins here. But it isn't enough. It just clearly isn't enough. Like, and Ben Simmons isn't going to be, a 30, 15 and 15 guy. He's just not. And they don't have the defense. They can't stop anybody. I mean, they can score. They have no problem scoring. They just cannot stop anybody on the opposing end. They don't have enough defenders. And I've said this time and time again. I really believe Brooklyn needs to just blow it up. If you were ever going to tank, now's the time, right? Like, you gotta do something to go kind of rebuild, retool, go get some assets, go get some things. And instead, they're kind of just, trying to tread water. And it's like you can't even get to 500, and you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons on your team. And Ben Simmons is playing good. And you just went on a win streak, but you went on a win streak against a bunch of teams that, like, you should have beaten. Like, they can't beat good teams. And I've said this going back to last year, that they just cannot beat good teams. Like, this was a chance to get a real win. Like, they beat Memphis. Memphis doesn't have anybody. Like, so how good of a win was that? Like, that wasn't a good team. They're missing, 3 of their stars again. So it's like, how much can you put into that win? And then the game before that, they play Portland. And yeah, like, they barely squeeze out a win against Portland. A win's a win, I'll take it. But again, like, they're not playing to the level that they should be playing to, right? They're not playing to the standard that many expected them to play to. Philly they just had a bunch of, like, guys thrown together tonight to try to go win. And look, it's bench guys, it's role guys, and this is great confidence for Philly, right? Philly's getting, some great minutes from rotation guys. And it's something I've talked about even with the Lakers. LeBron being out, you've seen guys really step up. And that's because, it's easy to kind of just get comfortable watching your stars. Well, now the role guys are starting to have to step up, and that's good going forward because you're going to need those guys come, a grueling playoff series. And Tobias Harris, coming out, turning around, he gets injured, and it's like, uh-oh, here goes this. He's injured now too. Now they're missing the 4 best play. He comes back and completely plays like he's a different player entirely, right? Comes in, absolutely dominates. Has 18 points in the second half. Just was able to kind of control the game, control the tide, hit big shots when they needed him to, and played like a real player. Like, he really stepped up. And this was something Philly fans have been begging for, right? Tobias Harris to step up and show that, like, he could be the guy. But at the end of the day, he's the 4th option. Well, now he was the 1 option, and he played like it tonight. He played like a guy that you needed to count on, and he was absolutely solid for this team, and that's really good. You need that from him going forward. You need him to be able to keep that momentum and drive. Had a lot of role guys. Niang, again, really great game, really solid all-around basketball game. He was really huge for them. You had Shake Milton. You had a lot of guys really step up in the absence of their big 3. And look, Philly's absolutely struggling right now too, right? They're not having the best of luck either. They finally just got over 500. They're 9-8, but they're treading water. And the Nets had everybody. They had no excuse. You're 8-10, and you've beaten, for the most part, nothing but bad teams this season. Like, that's what it is. That's the reality. And I don't think Brooklyn's going to be able to turn it around. I think their season's done. I think they make the playoffs. At worst, I think they make the play-in. But if you're Brooklyn, just I've said this, I don't know how many times, just blow it up, move on, get what you can. Because if Kyrie just leaves, you're not getting anything for Kyrie, and you're still over the cap because you have Joe Harris, Ben Simmons, and you have Kevin Durant. So why not get something for him now, even if you're just working out a deal to go and take on long-term salary? Like, if they're players that can help you, why not? Or buy them out and save yourself $10 million. At least you're saving yourself something and some tax and stuff like that. Fine. Trade Kevin Durant, let him go to a team that really can use him and utilize him and actually, maybe win a championship with them and just be done with it. Just move on. Get what you can while you can. Because the longer you procrastinate and the longer you draw this out, the worse it's going to get. And I've said this, they're a bad day away from imploding. They've already imploded once. I see it happening again. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What did you think of Philly's just, dominance of the Brooklyn Nets tonight? What did you think of Brooklyn just dropping the ball and just losing a game that they should have absolutely won? Are you disappointed? Are you not? Are you surprised? Are you not? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between, let me know down in the comment section below. Quick little shameless plug, go subscribe to my second channel, link down in the description below. As it stands, Lakers, I am a diehard Laker fan. I love talking Lakers. I could talk Lakers all day, just like I could talk about all sports all day. And I'm sure many of you watching to this point enjoy my commentary, enjoy these discussions. So go check out the Lakers channel. Even if you're not a Laker fan and you just like hearing me talk about stuff in basketball, go over there and subscribe. I'll link down in the description below. I promise you won't be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.